Okay, we are recording. So I have a couple of things to talk about. We had mentioned last time that we wanted to talk about 2005. And then I've got a few other things that I wanted to mention. And then of course we will have time at the end for questions and just, cool things you learned and discovered. So let's start with the few things that I had, and then we can look at 2005. One of the first things, and I just wanted to do a screen share of this. Oh, one more click. There's a lot of clicks to share a screen. So what are you seeing?
The dev site, the Bywater dev site.
Okay, good, because that's what I was hoping. Okay, so our the development that we have been working on and trying to get, we tried to get funding through the development committee at koha-US, but what we did was we were able to get the development added to this crowdsourcing page on Bywater. So if you've never been here before, these are a bunch of ideas that people have had for new developments that they haven't been able to fund themselves. And so they have put them out here to see if there's other libraries that are interested. So this is always a fun place to go and look and see if you've got, some money burning a hole in your pocket, and see what other ideas are out here. But for us, let's look at acquisitions. So there's three acquisitions developments that are out here. This one is the one that we are interested in. This is the one that we've supported. So the goal is $8,750, and the part one has already been done with these two tickets or developments or bugs. Then we have part 2 and part 3. Part 2 is $7,500. So I encourage everyone to consider pledging toward this. This is a lot of money for one library to kick out, but if we can get, a number of libraries to pledge smaller amounts, we can get this taken care of. So what you would do to make a pledge is put your library name in here, then the responsible person, the contact person, and the email address, and then your pledge amount. My understanding is that at this, when you put this in, it's just a pledge amount, and it won't actually, Bywater won't actually come for the money until it gets fully funded. So what, I don't know if there's discussions that have been going on already with libraries to see if you want to do this. I would, encourage, even if you just have, $250 or something like that. Every bit helps toward that. So toward reaching this goal, so if you could do that, that would be fantastic. And then I thought, just out of curiosity, we can look at the other ones. There's one here that is $4,000, which is less. And that would add the ability to print kind of like a receipt, like you would for books that have been checked out and stuff like that, that would have the basic information on the books that have just been received. You know, and then they could just be put inside the books as they go through your cataloging, processing, technical services area, with information on it that you could specify, like, does it have holds on it? Which branches does it go to? Is it a bestseller? You know, anything, you know, that you might be helpful information for the technical services people to know. You know, we put notes, we buy from Ingram, and we put notes in the notes field, you know, with, you know, we've got dots on the kids' books, and we've got, you know, so they'll put the note, you know, put a red dot on this or whatever. All those notes are in there that could also be on that slip. So that's something that might be interesting. And then this one, yikes, is $15,000. But I know that this is one that a number of libraries would really be interested in. So this is, okay, so currently in acquisitions, if you place an order, it's tied to a single fund. You can only fund it with one. That's not true. Libraries need to split the costs across 2 or more funds, for example. Has anybody else done this where you can assign funds individually? I mean, maybe what they're asking for here, create a new data table containing order. Either a single fund or the word multi. Okay, if multi is selected, the user then selects all the funds desired. Oh, I see. Oh, this is a different multiple thing than I was thinking when I first read it. So you got the sociology department and the psych department both pooling their money to purchase a number of books. Because what you can do is for each individual book, you can assign it a specific fund. So this would be a little, when I quick read over this, I was thinking of something else. But those are 3 acquisitions developments that are out there looking for money. Acquisitions is sort of the red-haired stepchild in the system. We just, you know, it's in the back, so people don't see it, so it doesn't get quite the attention. And some libraries choose not to use acquisitions too, which we need to go and visit these libraries and show them how cool acquisitions is. But those are 3. And, you know, if you have other ideas in your libraries, you know, we can talk about other things too. We can get them up here and crowdsource it. But I guess I'd like to see these 3 that we've got up here get funded so we can get these 3 moving through. So if you can go back to your library and just talk about how much you want to pledge toward this development. Like I said, it doesn't have to be much. $100 would even be great. And then we can figure that out. I know I've got emails from a couple of people that are interested, but I was just curious, is anybody else interested? You know, like your library is considering putting money toward this? I'm going to unshare my screen, maybe. And thanks, Jason, for the link. Any questions about the devs and where to find it? Okay. The thing that we talked about last time too was the blanket PO. And I had 2 people respond back to me that they were interested in more, into talking about it more and seeing what we can get to work with that. While we were talking, we kind of, and I'm going to run this idea past you guys. We're also going to talk to an educator from Bywater and see what they think about it. So hang on. I was just going to pull up our site, but I decided that's probably politically not too correct. So I'm going to pull up the example site from the Bywater thing. So the idea, almost there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again. And get that last click. Okay, so you should be able to see the acquisitions homepage, I guess, at this point.
Yep, it looks good.
Thought, and this is kind of where we're looking for input, looking for, where's the flaw in the plan kind of thing. But a thought was, if you have a parent fund with a child fund underneath it, you could set up a child fund under your parent fund that would be for the amount of your PO. For this example, let's just say $1,000. So we go into, let's see, budgets, active. Oh, we have lots of active budgets here. So I want that budget. Okay. Oh, I always have to go through this 20 times before I figure out what it is. All right, here's our funds. Okay, so we have our parent fund, and then under that, we can add a sub fund. And this is, we're just, for the sake of blanket PO 2020. Oh, that's the fund name, fund code. Okay. Blanket PO 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Just under the wire there. Okay. Blanket PO, and we'll call it 2020. And we put $10,000 in here. And set that up. So now we've got our blanket PO under here, and you would put in the right amount of money for this. And I guess that, calculate, the one thing about these child funds and parent funds is it doesn't always, you have to make sure that these all add up to the right amount to match this or whatever. So, but then you could charge against this blanket PO under your fiction, and it would be deducted, and you would just watch the total available until it gets down to close to zero, and you'd know that you'd spent it. So that was an idea, as we were talking about it, that we could do kind of have the function of a blanket PO, you know, an open PO, without a whole lot of work, you know, development having to be done. Any thoughts on that? And of course, right now, since I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the chat.
It doesn't look like there's anybody in chat.
Okay.
Could you also create like sub funds? I don't do acquisitions, so this is all like foreign to me, but like under the
Yep,
blanket PO,
can.
you could then do another, you could line out your funds under that. I don't know if that's useful.
I'm not too creative today with my names, so we're only going to put 5,000 in this one. And submit. I'd never done that before, but sure enough, you can. So you can do that kind of thing too. Okay. Well, I thought I would throw this out here just to see, you know, if anybody would be like, oh, but what about this case? If you are interested in talking with, you know, being in on the conversation with, we're going to talk with a Bywater developer, not a developer, an educator, and see if, you know, what, you know, they just have talked to so many libraries that we thought they would be a good source of input, or, you know, to bounce the ideas off of. And if you'd like to be in on that conversation, just send me an email, and with some times either next week, which I realize is in the US is Thanksgiving week, or the following week, you know, sometimes in there that we can get together then and talk with them. But that is kind of the idea that we're working with on the blanket PO. And then to stop sharing, our books are pre-processed. So, oh, okay. Ah, nice. Someday we're going to be there with not needing receipt slips. Judy says that their books are all pre-processed, so they don't need the receipt slips to go through the technical services. The other thing, oops, I gotta pull this one up. Okay, so I don't know how many of you noticed, we did get a question from on the serve link listserv, or the chat group, or I'm not even sure what we're calling this thing anymore. The Google group, I guess, about a question. Let's see, this is from Russell in college, he's a librarian at a college in South Africa, and they recently adopted Koha, and they plan to go live in 2021. They're interested in the integration and management of ebooks, and they want to introduce ebooks to users, but from different local suppliers. So we're not sure how we can integrate them into Koha. I just wanted to highlight this email to everybody so that, you know, you can respond directly to him. If you haven't seen the email notice come through, but you know, I want to make sure that he doesn't hear crickets from our end on this. So does anybody how do people integrate ebooks from different vendors? So this isn't going to be like Overdrive or, what's the Access 360 or something like that. I keep on saying RV Digital, but they're not there anymore. These are going to be from different local suppliers. Does anybody have, how does anybody do something like that? Do you have ideas for that? This is such a quiet group today. They're already heading for Thanksgiving, I think.
Just for our physical items, and we use a Stack site as a platform for the ebooks. So right
Okay.
now,
Is somebody talking? I hear something very, very faint.
let's see. Can you hear me now?
Almost. It's very,
Okay.
very faint.
Sorry. I'll type it in chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So Monique says our cataloger enters ebooks from other suppliers other than EBSCO. Okay. Because the EBSCO ones get integrated. So you just catalog it as if, just like you would a print book, but create a record or a record for it. And then does it have a link in it to the vendor? Is that how that goes, Monique? Okay. So Marjorie says we use Koha for our physical items only at the moment. And we use an EBSCO Stacks platform to provide access to our ebooks. So Marjorie, are they just EBSCO ebooks on the Stacks platform? I've heard a little bit about the Stacks platform, but I don't know that much about it. I know it exists. That's about it. Okay. EBSCO, ProQuest, and Gale. Okay. And then Monique says, yes, there is a record in Koha and a link to the ebook. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think the question here probably is are his ebooks going to be hosted somewhere that he can link out to, or is he trying to host those ebooks himself?
Yeah,
because he's
that's
going to
what I'm
need a
wondering.
different piece of software to host them if that's the case. Because I don't think you can, Koha doesn't support like
Right.
providing a repository of ebooks. It just kind of supports linking out to ebooks in the 856.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, because every example that we have here the books are hosted somewhere else, and you have, in Koha, you can put a link out to wherever that platform is.
Right. And I know that like Bywater supports Coral for that as an electronic resource management system.
Oh,
I would
okay.
assume that that's open source because I think everything Bywater does is open source. So that might be an option.
Okay.
There's probably other open source options out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing you've got to remember, if you set up records in Koha and link to them, then if you stop subscribing to them, you've got to delete them out of Koha. That's the tedious bit.
Yes. Yeah. That's keeping your catalog accurate and clean is real important. Yeah, because we've run across that where we had RB Digital, like a subscription for they just gave us access to a bunch of books. And then without telling us, they lost the license or whatever to a couple of those books. So they just magically disappeared, but we still had the record in Koha. And yeah, we discovered those when patrons tried to link and couldn't find anything. So when the next phase of integration with Overdrive is completed, then, you know, for Overdrive at least, you won't have to have the records in there. They'll show up in the search results already. But I don't know what the timetable is on that. Okay. So I can't remember, is it Victoria? Oh, I can't remember what your first name is. But they use the cloudLibrary and the records are in Koha as well. That's Victoria. Yes. All right. And that's what we do with Overdrive. Is we've got the records, they link out to them, but then we've got the records in Koha as well. Okay, well, those were the three things. So if a couple of us want to respond here, I guess clarifying, maybe the best thing to do, you know, what I can do is just to clarify first, you know, are you looking for a platform? What the question is, and then from there we can answer Russell with those questions. Super. So does anybody have any, is anybody on right now that is an early adopter for 2005 or is on it already? I'm making a bold assumption that you're Bywater's supported by Bywater, but that's not, that's just because that's what we are. But anybody on 2005 already, that's a better way of saying it. Okay, I'm going to assume silence means no. There are a few things that are really interesting. So there have been a number of changes with the purchase suggestions. That's the biggest part of acquisitions that was touched this time. So there are, there's a purchase suggestion development that was added that allows for limiting the number of purchase suggestions that a patron can make within a rolling number of days. So it's, for example, you can go into, let me go back, let me share this screen and we'll go back into Bywater, yeah. Okay, so here, what you have to do first is go to administration. And then that's actually the one next, total suggestions. Yes. So there's this new system preference that you need to set up. So there's total number of suggestions allowed, and then you put a number in there. So I'm going to pick 3 in so many days. So we'll call it a month. So we'll do 30 days. So that's the first thing that you do is set that up and save that. Then you come back over here. I'm just going to refresh this and go to suggestions. Okay, that's not what you need to do. You need to go to, oh, I did that, didn't I? I do this every time. Port. In case you weren't aware, this is where you find the demo site for Bywater Solutions. So you go to bywatersolutions.com and then click support. And then you see lovely pictures of their support team. And then there's the OPAC demo and the staff client demo. So I was on the staff client demo, but I wanted to go to the OPAC demo and just look around here. Let me go here. And okay, so we've saved that. We're going to just pick a patron. Okay, something I can spell. How about Golda Meir? Is she all good? Card expired. Let's renew her. Okay. All right. So, and then her. Card number is 283. I don't see a password or anything here.
It's a little further down.
Oh, it's a little further down. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So, oh no, there's username Golda. And then I'm going to change this to 1234 because I can. Okay. And then we go back here. No, we go here. And yeah, this right here isn't so great. Okay, this is not great at all.
Oh, you can also log in down in the lower right there
Oh, good.
where it says log into your account. Down a little bit more into the right. That gray box there.
Oh, duh. Okay. Any bigger it would have bit me. Gold. And 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay.
Oh, didn't work. You can also use you should be able to use the Bywater, the
Okay.
staff login that you used should log
Okay.
into the OPAC too.
Water.
There you go.
There we go. That looks a little better. So, purchase suggestions. You can, they can put in purchase suggestions from here. So we can add a new purchase suggestion and we will, okay, this is something I was, New York Times book that you must read in from, I think I messed that up. Yep, I did. Okay. And I think that's all they require. So submit. All right. So, oh, I mess that up. But you can see I've done one. Now I want to do another one. So let's see. Here's another one that. Okay. So we do another one, submit your suggestion. We've got 2 of them. That's wonderful. I'm just thinking this is so much fun. I'm going to keep doing it. So people, okay, here we go. And now you notice there's no more button to push to do a third one. And there's a little message here. You may only add up to 3 suggestions in 30 days. So our collection developers were so happy with that. Now, this right here is a little problematic because if what some of our patrons do is as soon as their their suggestion has been handled, you know, accepted or rejected, they will go in and delete them out of there. Well, the system is assuming that everything is staying there, you know, like all their purchase suggestions, and it just goes back and looks at the ones that are in, you know, saved in the database. So what I had Bywater do is just remove this button so that they can't delete things. We haven't heard any pushback from that yet, but I'm sure we will hear it from somebody. But in order for this to work properly, we can't allow them to delete their suggestions because then we won't know how many they've suggested in the, you know, in the last 30 days or whatever. So that is one new function. There's also the ability, okay, so, okay. Now, the other thing that is new is, let's just find a book. Okay, Whisper of Evil. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So I'm gonna go, yeah. Reset. So since this delete button hasn't been moved here, let's delete. I will take advantage of it and also show you that if they do that, it's not such a big deal if they haven't been handled yet, but now we've got our button back. So what did I say? Whisper.
Whisper of Evil, I think.
Okay. So if I, oops, if I Whisper of Evil. Now, this is new. A similar document already exists, Whisper of Evil. Click on confirm your suggestion to ignore this message. So there's a link here and it can take them to this K. Hooper book. And if that's the one that they want, great. It will point them to it again. And otherwise, you know, they can go down here, confirm your suggestion, and be merrily on their way. That's a new feature. For whatever reason, it isn't working on our system. We do, require title, author, and item type, I think, or something. There's something else down here that we require. Maybe it's just title and author. And so, yeah, we'll have to figure out why that isn't working on our system. But that's a new feature. There's also the ability from just on the staff side, you know, how if you have a large quantity of purchase suggestions, you know, this is accepted 1 and rejected 2. Ours is more like a 4-digit number here and maybe a 3-digit number here, and it takes forever to load. So there is a development that you can mark things as archived so that they won't try and load when you load this page, they're still out there and you can still get them with reports and things, but they don't, you know, you can decide how to, you know, how far back you want things to be live and or archived. I haven't dug into that one real deep to figure out how to set that up because yeah, when you've been on the system for a while, these numbers can get really big. We have ours purged every year, you know, anything over a year just gets deleted, but it would be nice not to have to wait so long to get in every time. Other than that, did anybody else see anything interesting that they thought would be kind of fun and we can mess around on this system and see if we can get it to work? I just have not figured out. Oh. No. That didn't help. I'm going to stop sharing just so that it. Okay.
Rhonda, this is Stephanie at Pennsauken Library. We're a fairly small library, so a lot of that, what you're talking about here at the suggestions management, doesn't affect us as much because we really don't get that many. But looking at your shared screen, and I'm pretty sure in one of the first ones, you know, we've only been on this year. We're new to Koha this year, and we're still figuring out acquisitions. It's kind of got pushed to the back burner with everything else going on. But on yours, on that one, that the display one you just showed, there was a tab called ordered, and I'm pretty sure you talked before about being able to add tabs here that aren't there, but I can't find anything about it. And we would really like to be able to do that because I want to be able to move like the children's requests to their own tab so that she can look at them on her own time.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
That would be great.
So what?
Sorry to bring you back to like the basic baby stuff.
No,
but.
no, this is really, it's good refresher because sometimes you're like, oh, because we just added those tabs. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really something I'd
months
like to be
ago.
able to do.
and our collection developers are like, yes,
Yeah.
it's just wonderful. All right, so what you want to do is go to administration. You can see my screen, right?
Right, yes.
Okay, so go to administration, authorize values, and then imagine, oh, I'm going to have to do all. And then, let's see, this is, what would we have called this? I was hoping it would be under.
Yeah, I think I was rooting around in there one day thinking it would be there, but I just, sometimes it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, suggest format. I didn't even look for that.
So, here we go. So here's the statuses, suggestion statuses. So if we would add new authorized value. All right, so let's do ACQ. Oh, let's just do what you did, children. Something like that. So this is under administration, authorized values, and suggest underscore status. So now if we go back to acquisitions, someday they're going to put those in alphabetical order and I'm going to be able to find them. Suggestions.
I thought statuses were the I guess that's what threw me. I thought the statuses were the down below, the, you know, where you choose
Oh.
a status.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So back we go. Obviously, it's been a minute since I've values. Okay. All right. Add additional custom status.
Yeah, I was playing around with those, but none of them seem to be the tabs, and that's.
Yeah.
I wonder
Oh.
if you move that item into that status, if it creates the tab. Like the tab's not there unless there's something in it.
Ooh, I think you're right.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That
yes,
might be
yes.
okay.
So let's go back to acquisitions. And then, yes, I think you're right, Jason. Oops, that's not what okay. So we go to suggestions, and then this one we are going to go here and choose this status, submit. There it is.
Ah, that's what it is. Okay, so I missed a whole step there. All right. Okay, great.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Now that you say that, that's what people really like about it, is they can just glance at it, and if their name isn't up there, they're done. You know, they can just walk away. Because before, what we had, excuse me, was the we moved it to checked status, so they'd have to go to checked, and then we put their initials in the comments section, so they'd have to scroll through everything there to see if their initials were somewhere before they could decide. But this is yeah,
right. Wow, that's great. I like the ordered you know, too, because we've been putting everything in accepted, but you know, some things are interlibrary loans, some things are actually ordered, so that would be useful for us. So that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think the ability to add managers is new this upgrade.
That's right.
Too, right?
Yes. That's a good one. So this section right here. So if I pick one of these and then do select a manager, this part. Oh, this is right. I kind of stumbled on something. Search this and see what we come up. Demo Bywater. So and they're a staff person, so I can select them and submit.
So we're not seeing the pop-up window, but there was like a pop-up window where you could search for a patron, right?
Yes, okay. There was. Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
I just picked, I didn't pick the whole screen. So now you can see that it's managed by Bywater Demo. If you had, if you had something in there before, you could change it to a different person, or, you have a case like this where there isn't anything in there, you can set that. The interesting thing that happened to me was under edit. This is kind of a weird situation because this doesn't, okay. Where's the one? Okay, here's one. So right now we see this one was suggested by Nate. And if we go into edit and we see Nate here, and you see we still have selected, by or managed by, you, whoever you is. Okay, now there's a pop-up window and I'm going to search for Bywater again and select them and see how it changed Nate's name to Bywater Demo. That's not what we wanted to happen. Because now Nate will get the notification, or Bywater will get the notification, and poor Nate will never get it when it's actually been accepted or whatever. So I need, unless somebody notices something I messed up when I did that, but I don't think this is what we want to happen.
No, that seems buggy. Because
Yeah,
it should be changing where it says you, it should be changing that to the manager,
yeah.
the new manager you
on
picked.
by you. So I will submit that. I came across that last week and then life happened. Suggestion. It's the joys of being an early adopter. You gotta find all these things.
I want to let you know that we all appreciate the early adopters. As a non-early adopter, you guys do all the hard work.
Absolutely.
We
We would never
appreciate
do it. So
Yeah, so I'm just gonna cancel out of here so that it stays Nate. Okay.
Could I just ask something while we're talking about suggestions?
Yes.
Did anybody ever have a problem where you go in and when you log in and you're on your home screen, it tells you you've one new purchase suggestion. And then when you go in, it doesn't appear on any of the tabs.
Yes. Did anybody else have that situation? We had it in one case. I can tell you the case that we had it. Do you have multiple branches?
Yes.
So somehow, if this doesn't have multiple branches, so it's if the suggestion was made for us, we set, during the pandemic, we set up a digital branch and didn't really expect that people would, we didn't turn off the ability to make purchase suggestions from that branch. And so people were making purchase suggestions with that digital library set as the branch that they
right. Okay.
lived at. And so you had to go in and change the branch up here to see what suggestions were for the other branch. And, one of our staff was just doodling around and came across it because we had we had a discrepancy of like 3, where it's told us that we had 3 more purchase suggestions than when we got to the purchase suggestion page. But then she was doodling around and changed the branch to the digital one, and there were those 3 that we couldn't find.
Thank you very much. I'll have a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, and we see the same thing where we've got a lot of branches, and some
Right.
of those notices on the front page, if you're logged in as a super librarian, it gives you the total. But if you're logged in as an individual librarian without super librarian powers, it just gives you how many are at your library, and it doesn't show up if you don't have any at your library. So it could be that, and I don't know if it's that one or the patron requesting modification, or maybe all of them. They all kind of behave a little bit differently.
Yeah. No, well, I think in this scenario, there shouldn't be another branch, but there's a branch that's used for self-issue, and I'll bet somehow somebody's managed to put a purchase suggestion in there.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That was. We managed to, if it's possible to break it, we can. That's why Bywater wanted us so badly for early adopters. They're like, Round Rock will break it. So we've put in a few bugs, our tickets already that they're working on. So, all right. I just glanced up and I see that we are almost out of time here. So does anybody have anything else that they want to share? Not, I will stop sharing the screen. And we're always happy to answer any kind of questions. Use the Google group to talk amongst yourselves during the week or the month in between meetings. Our next meeting will be December 15. So that will be the last one of 2020. And yeah. So if you don't have any more questions, Jason, I think we can stop the recording.